Gotta make sure everything is on point. So now that James mentioned about it, 2 years ago, it was actually my first Chinese service. Wow. I was standing on the stage and I'm trying my best, just deliver a sermon, to everybody else. And then at that time, because it was my first time, but then after the sermon, I realized one thing. I see the church leader, Joe, just walking around, telling everybody, dude, this guy just got baptized. That was his first time doing the Chinese New Year. At that time, I never get to understand why, until one day I actually go back to see the video. Like, dude, it was not good. It is just bad, So 2 years later, today, give me a chance to redeem myself. You see, as Chinese, how can you love any other festival other than Chinese New Year festival? Maybe not many of us, even from China, we actually know where this festival is coming from. Maybe we don't know who actually created it, with what purpose, but I gotta say, I'm grateful for the guy who created this. It's awesome. You walk around, you just eat a lot of food. You go houses to houses and you just eat. All right. It is a perfect time for you to eat and without persecuting by anybody and saying, hey, why are you eating so much? And other than that, the red pocket, man, that is the gold. I gotta say, every year you walk around, you're collecting that pocket, and then the feeling when you open up the pocket, you see money, $50, $100. You're like, wow, man, this is awesome. This is incredible. You feel like you are so rich because when you're a little kid, you get $1. That's a lot, And then you have people putting in 50. You're like, there is a God. So that feeling was so incredible. So after you counting all the money, your mom would always come. Kindly suggested, son, you are too small to handle the money. Give the money to me. Whenever you need money, I'll give it to you. But those money are yours. I won't touch it. It is yours. So keep it. Okay, so that was the first time I actually trusted someone with all of my heart. I was so excited. I put all the money, I counted, I carefully put it in the pocket, and I give it to my mom. Mom, take this. All right. And then that was also the last time you ever see your red pocket money again. Okay. As we grow up, our trust for people has been going down. I can't even trust my own mom, like somebody that I see every day. And when it talks about the concept of God, this being where you just cannot see him anywhere. If I can't even trust a human being with all of my heart, how can I actually trust this invisible God? This is what I'm trying to talk about today. All right. So if you're Chinese and you are here with me today without going home, that probably means, sorry, mate, no pocket money for you. That's okay. I feel you. But I also want to, as well, just wish everybody coming here a happy Chinese New Year as well. Come on. So you see, it took a whole lot for people trying to convince me that there is a God. You see, I studied the Bible with different people, going to every church meeting and gathering, and even living with the brothers before I became a Christian. I'm just hanging out with a Christian group. So with everything that I have done, it still took me 2.5 years to actually believe in God. So today I'm not trying to convince you that there is a God because it took me 2.5 years, but I want to try to convince you at least to give God a try. Come on. So which leads to my point number 1. So the title of today is Try and Taste God. All right, point number 1, are you willing to give God a try? So coming from an atheist background, growing up in China, Christianity, God, cross, those kind of words, it just never come across your mind. You don't know what that is because nobody talk about it. Everybody talking about science, how communism is good, 中国共产党, like they talk about that, So as human, we were influenced by society, and then we were influenced by people around us without us noticing. Now, the first time people approached me with the concept of God, the Bible, I paid little to no attention to it because it had nothing to do with my life. So in 1 Corinthians chapter 8, verse 2, it says, "Those who think that they know something do not yet know as they ought to know." It is funny that sometimes we think we already knew something while we absolutely knew nothing. You see, for the student here, you understand this feeling. I was graduated here in Macquarie University. So anybody from Macquarie University? My man, you see, you know what I'm talking about. And I was doing professional accounting over there. Right? And this is the feeling that I have. Every time before the exam, that month before the exam, you go through paper. You just keep doing the sample paper. You keep memorizing all the equation, how do you get this number, put it into that table. And then on the date of the exam, you think you're ready. You think you absolutely know everything, right? And then you sit into the table room, you're sitting down. The teacher says, hey, turn your paper, upside down or from, facing down. And then he go, okay, now you can read the papers. And then you have 10 minutes to read those papers. To read the question, to go through the question. As I was reading the questions, my heart's always like sinking down to the bottom of the sea. The more you read, the more you're like, what on earth is this? All the equation that you have to be memorizing, you don't know where to put it. Okay? Like all the table that you have been going through, this is a completely new table. Once again, you feel like you were betrayed by your lecturer. There was mom before, and now you go into society, now it is the lecturer. That they betray you. You're like, okay, I know nothing. You're reading that, and then you feel like, I absolutely know nothing. So you see, that was a time where I can tell you guys I absolutely think that I know everything, but end up by knowing nothing. And also, that when you were hanging out with opposite, so for example, like a boy and girls, hanging out, and sometimes you have a lot of different genders, like friends. So you guys, hang out a lot, talk a lot, you think you guys know each other a lot, at that time. And so for me, it's like, okay, well, I know girls well enough, until you actually start dating. You figure out that you think you know everything, but you actually absolutely know nothing. See, amen, bro, So it is funny that it goes the same way with the Bible and the concept of God, you see. Are you absolutely convinced today that the concept of God in your brain or in your head is correct? Are you absolutely convinced that there is no God? For all the Chinese out there, a lot of time people feed those information into us, and we observe it without, we actually take it all in without carefully looking for the answer for it. In Psalm chapter 34, verse 8, it says, taste and see that the Lord is good. Blessed is the one who takes refuge in him. So here the scripture said, in order to find out that there is a God and God is good, you got to do two things. All right. First, you have to see it, see God, and then you have to taste God. Okay, all right, it's a little bit weird. All right, let's go into it and see what's up. So stage one, you have to see God. All right, so there can be a God because we cannot see God, right? For Chinese out there, where is God invisible? I cannot see anybody, but I can see Sean sitting right here. So this guy is real, God is not. But you see, there are a lot of things we just cannot see in life, such as love. So can you actually observe my love for you? You cannot. Is it visible? It's not. It's something that is vague and invisible, but we believe that it actually exists. Every Valentine's Day, you're walking down the street, you just see couple holding hands, the way they look at each other. You're like, wow, there is love in between. This is incredible, this is amazing. But then absolutely, you cannot see love, but you believe that it exists. Now, so with the concept of God, it is the same. In 1 John chapter 4, verse 12, it says, "No one has ever seen God, but if we love one another, God lives in us, and His love is made complete in us." It says just like the way that you observe love between couples through how they treat each other, even though you cannot see God, you can see the love between the Christian. And then you'll be like, wow, there is a God. No, you can see the way through how His Christian, how Christian treating each other. If this is your first time that you're visiting, maybe you have been visiting for a while, you know that we are living up to our name. It's called Sydney International Christian Church, and the brothers before talk about that we have like 22 nations, in this church, and that is something special. We're really international. We're really different individual. We're coming from different background. We're having different stories. But that one thing that actually glue us together, it's God. Right. It's the concept of God. In Galatians chapter 3, verse 28, it says, "There is neither Jew nor Gentile, neither slave or free, nor is there male or female, for you are all one in Christ Jesus." So you see, as soon as you walk into the church, those are the things that you can easily observe. You can easily see. You see all nations that are hanging out together. You see they're talking to each other. You see they're cracking jokes to each other, even though sometimes they don't understand the jokes. They just laugh. All right. So as in there's no cultural gap in between them. You see people hugging each other, and you see people calling each other brothers and sisters. You see, this is the power of God and the beauty of the Bible. It breaks through all the language barrier. It breaks through all the cultural differences. It breaks through different individual. It breaks through different characteristic. And then after it breaks everything, it glues everything perfectly together. And that's where you see the love, coming from the church. That's where you see the unity that is coming from the church. It is because God. It is because of God. So it says right now, even though you cannot see God, but at least at this moment, through the people, you can see the work of God. Yeah. Now, but that is only stage one. All right? Stage one, you got to see God. You somehow see a little bit of God, how He works. Just like you can learn how to swim by seeing how other people swim. You have to get into the water sometimes. You have to get drowned a little bit before you actually you can learn how everything about how to swim. That is the same concept with God. You taste a little bit, you see a little bit, but you have to get into it before you can fully understand it. So that's why we go to stage 2, tasting God. All right, you go, how do I taste God? All right. So you have come to church, you've seen a little bit God, right? Now I just want to encourage you guys to go to stage 2, which is taste God. You see, with the Chinese out there, coming from our culture, when we were little, all right? Our parents, they will always give us a certain amount of the money every day. So that amount of money cover up all the expenses that you have, throughout the day. And sometimes if you actually manage your money well enough, you ended up saving $1 or $2. As a kid, that's a lot. You go to the shop, you're like, wow, I can buy so many things. The candy, it looks like a burger, and then you can you can separate them and then you can eat them. Those are 30 cents. So with $1 you get 3. And then also you have spicy fish, 50 cents. I'm like, wow, what do I want to have today? You always go into the shop with a high expectation because you feel like you can do so much, right? But out of everything, one of my favorite is this 50 cents milk ice cream. If you're from Shenzhen, It's called 小布丁. All right, 小布丁. All right, you know what I'm talking about, right? If you're coming from Shenzhen, you know that's the name of the ice cream. It only costs 50 cents, and it is like so tasty. Every time, like even during the winter time, I go for it. You know, just give me this 小布丁. You know, I want this. You know, give it to me. So, I love ice cream as little. You know, I love just eating that milk ice cream. But later on, when you grow up, people are amazing. People actually started to get really creative with food. You see, there's a lot of food that we see today, you would never see them like 20 years ago. So that was the same concept. There was this one time I went to this dessert shop with my friends. They said, dude, you gotta try the signature dessert that they had over here. I'm like, fine, I'm okay with anything, just bring it on. All right. So later on, in front of me, there was this deep fried ice cream. I don't know if any one of you guys have ever tried it. You know, ice cream, deep fried. The first time I saw that, I was mad. I was like shaking. I was like, this is not right. Ice cream's supposed to be cold. Like, dude, that's why they're called ice cream. Ice, you know, like, what are you doing with my ice cream? Like, where's the ice? I can't see anything in it. See, sometimes the concept of God can be this deep fried ice cream. That is like sitting right in front of you. All right, you're like, this has nothing similar to the ice cream that I have known like long time ago, which you have never heard of and you never know anything about. You look at it and you just couldn't figure out how it works. You know, like ice cream at the same time like hot outside, like doesn't it make it like lukewarm, like, you know, those liquid ice cream, like who actually would like that? And you look at it, it is actually against every knowledge that you have ever been told in the past. It just doesn't look right. No, with the concept of God, it can be the same. You come into church, like, man, why is these people clapping? I mean, that's weird, you know? Oh, man, why are these people just praying? What is praying? Why are they doing that? Or what is this odd Chinese guy, you know, standing up there and just talking, you know? Why is everybody listening to him? Why is everybody shouting, come on, you know? Yeah, why is everybody shouting, come on, you know? Like, the things can be really weird, and you're like, yeah, I have never experienced this. This is weird, this is odd, you know? But let's go back to the fried ice cream, all right? Just let's go back to it a little bit. You have this fried ice cream in front of me. I was getting emotional. I mean, like, this is not right, all right? So people just go, no, you gotta try it. So being a humble guy, you know, I'm like, okay. So I'm a great friend. I want to keep the friendship. You know, sometimes you don't try the ice cream, they're no longer your friends, you know. So you got to keep the friendship. You're like, okay, let me try the ice cream and see what's up. So you lick it with the tips of your tongue. All right, see what's up. It tastes like nothing. Well, obviously outside it's fried, so there's no flavor to it. So they're like, come on, you got to bite into it, come on. So I actually bite it into it. Ooh, you know, that, you bite into it, you have that crispy skin, you know, with the ice cream melted so perfectly together. You're like, this is life. This is awesome. I just love it. And sometimes, God tastes surprisingly good. Yeah. Just like this ice cream. You're like, wow. I never know how this looks like. I never know how it works. But until you actually taste it, you will never figure out what it actually tastes like. I want to encourage you guys, you know, don't stop at seeing. All right, you come to church, you observe everything, and everything is cool, right? So you're like people fired up, clapping, hugging each other. You're like, well, everything's cool. It's kind of like the Word of God. Okay, the work of God. So don't stop just at the stage of looking, observing, and seeing, but actually get into it and taste God. This can be a new taste, you know, the new experience which you had never had in your life. All right, don't waste, but don't stop at the tips of your tongue though. Bite into it. You know, for some of us, maybe we have been Christian for a while, that you stop tasting that the Lord is good. Like you bite into it, you're like, okay, I've been biting this. I don't like this taste. No, but here it says the Lord tastes good.
Yeah.
So the only problem is that you're not biting hard enough. You gotta get into your mouth and let it melt. Embrace it. So if there is a brother or sister after church, coming to you and wanted to set up a Bible study with you, I don't care what your background is. Maybe you don't believe in God. That's okay. Give it a try. Taste it. Bite into it. Maybe you're already a Christian. That's okay. If you stop feeling that God tastes good, get into it again. Get a bigger bite and to see if God actually tastes good. Give it a chance and try to get into it, understand it, and live according to it. And that's how you can taste the fullness of God. And God always tastes good. Well, you might ask, well, you've been talking about God tastes good. All right. I know ice cream tastes good. But how exactly can God taste good? All right, so what are the good tastes that is coming from it? So which leads me to point number 2. All right. What are you actually looking for in life? So in Romans chapter 15, verse 13, it says, "May the God of hope fill you with all joy and peace as you trust in Him, so that you may overflow with hope by the power of Holy Spirit." So, one question quickly today. What do you think people are looking for today? And what do you think that they're looking for in life today? I think in our Chinese culture, a lot of time we distinguish that just with money, with car, with career, with good marriage. So this is what we're looking for. But yes, I agree with you at some distance, but I don't fully completely agree with you. So say for example, why do you want money? You said, I want money. Okay, why do you want money? I want money because for the girls, I can go shopping, I can buy everything that I want. Okay, fair enough. Why do you want to buy everything that you want? Okay, let's dig into it. I want to buy everything that I want because it makes me satisfied, right? It feels good just shopping. Sometimes one of the time I just walk into the store, I'm like, I never understand how it works. For guys, you go into a place and you're like, okay, you see all the girls there super enjoying shopping. You just don't understand until one day you actually go to a shop that you like to. You're like, man, I cannot get out of this. This is awesome. So why do you want to be satisfied? A lot of times we want to be satisfied because we think that it makes us happy. You see, this is one thing that everybody is looking for in life, which is happiness, no matter what you do. Why do you want a successful career? It makes people respect you, right? Why do you want the respect from people? Because it makes you feel good. Why do you want to feel good? Because you want to be happy, right? Why do you want to go to university? Because you want to have a good career, good future. Why do you want a good future? Because again, we get into the loop. I want money, happiness, satisfy, and everything. But ultimately, if you go down to the root, everybody is actually looking for joy that is in their life. And there's a lot of way that people are looking for joy. But I have to say, guys, people are not great at looking for joy. Looking for joy. Because I think about myself, right? Growing up, my parents always tell me that, hey, as a Chinaman, I'm from Shenzhen, so I'm Chinese. So you gotta study hard, to achieve what you want, and then you will be satisfied and you will be happy. So school and education, they're a big part of my life. So the thing about it is every time everybody just going so hard at school. When I was in high school, I wake up at 7 o'clock, I go to class. Class start at 8 o'clock. We finish until 10 p.m. That's 10 p.m. All right? It's not like 10 a.m. we finish. But you go all the way to 10 p.m. That's how much people actually value school and actually value education. Because they really believe that this can bring you joy. So for me as a little boy, in the beginning, I was doing good. I really just find my joy, through studying. It's good being number one, right? When everybody look at you, wow, it feels amazing. But then as you go up, you are being good, right? So you were getting picked, and then you go into a class where everybody else is good. And now you are no special anymore. So you're no longer number one. And then this joy of mine just fade away. You're like, what is the point, I mean, I try my best, I come into the school, and then everybody is better than me. What is the point, all right? So you started, just turning into bad boy because everybody can respect you. All the people they're studying, but then now if you try something different, everybody can look up to you. You're like, wow, this is awesome. This is the joy that I'm looking for. But then later on, you feel like this joy, it's empty. Because now you're like, what do I do with my future? What should I do? Where should I go? You start to lose this joy of your life because it was happiness and joy is what we're aiming for ultimately. And money and education and career, it's the process of getting there. And sometimes we're too focusing on the process that we forgot what we're truly looking for. I think that is true with a lot of us. We want this joy and happiness in our life, but we're too focusing on the wrong thing. We're focusing on money. Okay, you will never have enough money. You can always make money. You're focusing on the security. Okay, security of the future. Okay, you can save up money, but you always feel like you're not saving up enough money. So that's why it somehow steals our joy away from us. So we get lost in the process. We get too caught up in the middle of the process. So instead of focusing on the end result, we're focusing on the process, and which make us unhappy. Then you start finding people, this is the pattern, that they go into the university, actually a lot of them, and they study in a degree that they actually don't enjoy. I can speak for a lot of Chinese right here because I was in Macquarie. I was talking to every Chinese guy. I was like, why do you choose accounting? Professional accounting. Well, I choose it because my parents did tell me to do it. Do you like it? No. Okay, do you like professional accounting? No. So you see a lot of people, they actually don't enjoy what they're doing. They're studying in a degree that they never actually enjoy. They're coming out to work in a job that they never like. That they're living every day without passion just for the weekend to come. The feeling of, wow, it's about 5 o'clock. I can go home, and watch some Netflix. Wow, this is the most exciting moment of my life, Maybe you're feeling the same way. Or maybe you're saving up the money in hope that you will be happy after you retired. I can tell you that is not the case. My dad has a lot of money. I mean, in my standard, I think he has a lot of money. But his joy is no longer there. He just sitting in the house watching TV, taking a nap. He takes 6 naps a day. I started to figure out why I like to take naps so much. Maybe that is why. But you see, his life has turned from this exciting life to this boring life. Because money is not the solution to everything. The process is not the solution to the everything. So in Luke chapter 9, verse 1 to 10, here it says, Jesus entered Jericho and was passing through. A man was there by the name of Zacchaeus. He was a chief tax collector and was wealthy. He wanted to see who Jesus was, but because he was short, he could not see over the crowd. So he ran ahead and climbed a fig tree to see him, since Jesus was coming that way. When Jesus reached the spot, he looked up and said to him, Zacchaeus, come down immediately. I must stay at your house today. So he came down at once and welcomed him gladly. All the people saw this and began to mutter, he has gone to the guest of the sinner. But Zacchaeus stood up and said to the Lord, look, Lord, here and now I'm giving half of my possession to the poor. And if I have cheated anyone out of anything, I'll pay back 4 times the amount. Jesus said to him, today salvation has come to this house because this man, too, is a son of Abraham. For the Son of Man came to seek and to save the lost. It is a weird thing that is happening in Chinese society. We put so many conditions on top of our happiness. And so it becomes really hard to be happy. We have all this condition, in order to be happy, your mama tell you, you gotta have a good degree, you gotta have a stable job, you gotta have a house, you gotta have a car, and then you can find the love of your life, And then with all this, you start having your little baby Dean just running around, and then you will be happy, right? But the question is here, all right, those are good fantasy, those are good goals, those are good things that we're aiming for. But the question here comes, what if you never have a car? You know, what if you never have a successful career? What if you never have a beautiful wife? What if you never have a house, right? What are you gonna do right now? If you don't have all this, what are you gonna do today? For the rest of your life, for the 60, 70 years, are you just gonna live unhappy for the rest of your life if you don't have this? You see, we put so many conditions on top of it, and it's just making everybody unhappy. You see, why do you have to wait to be happy if you can be happy now? If happiness is what you are looking for in the end, what if you can get it now? I'm not saying it's not nice to have a car, but I think it's stupid that your happiness are based on car. Right. Because those things, they easily come and they easily go. That means the joy of your life, they easily come and then they easily go. Or maybe you would never have the joy of your life. I think the concept of that, it's stupid. And then you have this guy who is Zacchaeus, who saved up a big wealth. Well, this guy, here it talks about he's rich. He's a tax collector, so he's rich. And on the spot, he decided to give half of his money, his wealth away and pay whatever he cheated 4 times back. You know, when you think about it, it's gonna be years after years of saving and hard working. If his joy is based on money, how can he be happy? Why? Wow, you just lose half of your possession right on the spot, and you're paying everybody 4 times back. Maybe you're in debt after this. Now, I think the reason for him is after all this year, he finally found out what he was really looking for. It was not about the money. He was so caught up in the process of cheating and getting money, of just collecting as many wealth as possible, that he forgot what he was truly looking for. He was looking for the joy of his life. He forgot about this. With Jesus coming into his house, he refined this joy of his life. This joy, it's coming from Jesus Christ. Let me ask you, are you actually feeling happy today? Yeah. Have you found your joy? All right. If you haven't, if the way of how you're living for the past 20 years hasn't brought you the happiness of your life, I want to encourage you, don't bet another 20 years into the same way which hasn't worked out for you. All right, try God. Or sometimes we might be just looking for the hope that is in our life. You see, growing up, we all had our first dream. When I was a little Dean just running around, I dreamed about being a Superman. That song, is it American song? I don't know. That song, I believe I can fly. You sing that every day, you truly believe you can fly. So I fly out of the couch and I broke my jaw. So that was a really costly dream. It costs a lot, I fly for a second, but then it hit hard, So sometimes, as a little child, we dream about, going out of the space. We dream about diving deep down into the sea. Those are the childhood dreams. We have a lot of imagination. And then when you get a little bit older, so from a little kid, you turn into a little boy. From a child, so you grow up a little bit. All right, so you started having this boy's dream. All right, so what is the boy's dream? You have this boy's dream because you started to know what is right and what is wrong in this world. You start to think about those questions. So you dream about being that one guy or one girl who can do something for the world. Right? Who can make the world a better place? You're like, wow, that's a noble dream. I want to be someone like that. Then we grow into a teenager, where you think you are a real man and a real woman, but you're actually not. So you start to have this fake man or woman dream, so because you're not a real man or woman yet. And then the dream goes, I just want to be a good man. I just want to be a good woman. right? Because you have seen everything around you, started to see how limited you are, and you don't believe that you can affect or impact everyone around you. So, but at least you can be a better self. So from the point of changing the world, flying into the space, you come into, let me just be a good self. Let me just be a good person, right? And then we turned 18, right? We headed into the uni. And we started to get a taste of the society. And here you pick up your real man dream, real woman dream, which is having no dreams. You walk around, you're asking uni student, do you know what you want to do for the future? I don't know. Do you know what's your goal? What's the purpose? What's your ending? What are you trying to achieve in your life? I don't know. Find a good job. So that becomes our real man dreams, which is no dream at all. So imagine today if you walk into the office. After we go into society, right? You walk into the office, you see people just employee, your classmate, you walk into there and then you start having a chat. They go, hey Dean, what do you want to do? I want to change the world. What do you think that they would, what do you think they would react? They're like, man, this guy is crazy, this guy is not in the right mind. It's like, come on, like be real. Be real. You can't be that guy. You see, the older we get, the less we dream. Maybe it is because gradually we started to lose the hope in life. We've started from the very beginning that I can be someone, to later on in life, maybe I'm just nobody. You see how your dream develop and how your hope develop? We started to lose dream and we started to lose hope. And then you have this guy called Jesus. This guy was over 30 years old when he started his dream, okay? He was single. In today's saying, he was always single, so he's forever alone. He has no saving, he's homeless, he has no job providing stable income, he has no car, he has no nothing. All right, but somehow this guy still dream. All right, this guy always dream. You see, God is a God of hope. That's why Jesus always have hope. That's why he always dream. He didn't dream about himself magically just get rich every day. He didn't dream about having a home, a job. And let's take a look at his dream. So in Luke chapter 19, verse 10, it says, for the Son of Man came to seek and to save the lost. So with nothing, this guy Jesus, he still dreamed about saving the other people, to helping the other people. In Matthew 28, verse 19 to 20, it says, Jesus came to them and said, all authority in heaven and on earth has been given to me. Therefore go and make disciples of all nations, baptizing them in the name of the Father, of the Son, of the Holy Spirit, and teaching them to obey everything I have commanded you. And surely I'm with you always to the very end of the age. So you see, with nothing, he still dreamed about changing the world. Even when he was 30-year-old, 33-year-old. So he was still dreaming about that all nations one day would become Christian and they would come together. And his dream it's still alive today, as you can see. We have all nations, we have a lot of nations, and we're still gathering together. Years ago, because the gospel was spread everywhere under the heaven. And after 2,000 years later, there are still Christians all over the world. You see, his dream lasts. It continues. It's growing. And when you look at all these Christian men, just like Jesus, they dream. They still dream. They always dream. They dream about literally just everything. All right. So you have small dream like the childhood dream, which I mentioned before. You believe you can fly, and then you broke your jaw. So don't mention about that ever again. So and then also you have the big man dream, which is about changing the world. Today Christians still dream. Yeah. So I had a dream before. I had a dream. When I was little. After watching the movie Titanic, I picked up my version of the American dream, my version. So I dream about one day, I see, wow, that they are actually, it's a small world when you grow up. You're like, wow, those people, they don't look Chinese, Well, I wonder what's out there, So I dream about actually going out of China, to be friends with all these people that I have never known in my life. I think, wow, it will be cool, if you end up, just with someone, who is not your nation, and that would be cool, as in, that's so cool, international relationship and all that, that is so awesome. And later, I was lucky to have opportunity to come to Australia, and I was lucky to find this church and to find this God. You see, every day I was filled with hope. With hope, I saw the church grow from the size of 18 to the size of today. With hope, I saw one nation after another nation coming into Christ. I see the scripture coming true. It says all nation. Yes, all nation is happening. I see it coming true. You see, with hope, after 3.5 years, I saw this crazy American girl, just coming into Christ. Right? And with hope, I pray to God, like, my man, help. I cannot do anything. You gotta help me out with this one, And with hope, after patiently waiting for 9 months, she becomes my girlfriend today. Well, a month ago. Yeah. So you see, I achieved my dream, and I still dream. That's awesome. Now, so in Hebrews chapter 11, verse 11, it says, by faith, even Sarah, who was past childbearing age, was enabled to bear a child because he considered him faithful who had made the promise. You see, even the people in the Bible with this Sarah, he still had hope. At the age of 70 or 80, she still had hope going that God would give her a child. And a son was given to her because of that. Well, you said that is illogical. Yeah, that is why we call it miracle, you see. If God actually worked with your logic, He's no God at all. There's no God, That's why we call it miracle. And that's why we always have hope. Because we have seen so many miracles in our life. Because we're worshiping a God of hope that would never run out of miracles. That's how amazing it is. Do you still dare to dream today? Do you still have the dream, the hope of your dream? Right, do you want to once again have that hope just lighten up in your heart? Do you still want to once again just having the courage inside of your heart that encourage you even to dream? If the answer is yes, I want to encourage you. Try God. Come on. Or sometimes, maybe today, you are looking for the peace that is in your mind. You see, as human, we can be anxious about a lot of things that is unnecessary. We think that we need to take control of everything while we don't even know what's going to happen the next second. As a uni student, maybe the future actually concerns you, especially in China. You have 1.5 billion Chinese in there. That's a lot of competition out there. And all of these can take the peace away from us. In Matthew chapter 7, 24 to 27, it says, therefore, whoever hears these words of mine and put them into practice, it's like a wise man who built his house on the rock. The rain came down, the streams rose, and the winds blew and beat against that house. Yet it did not fall, because it had its foundation on the rock. But everyone who bears these words of mine and does not put them into practice, it's like a foolish man who built his house on sand. The rain came down, the stream rose, and the winds blew and beat against that house, and it fell with a great crash. So here Jesus is talking about this house which is building on sand and building on rock. When you look at this house, it's representing our life. When you're looking at the foundation, it's talking about what kind of foundation are you actually using to build up your life and to build up your house. There are a lot of foundations that we can find today in society. So Bible here, it tells us to build our life in the right foundation. There are foundation of rock and there are foundation of the sand. They both look normal when the times are good. But when the storm or the problems of life, when they come, and that is where it started to test your house and your life. Only those who build their life or house on the right foundation can stand put and peaceful when the times are bad. So let me ask you, what kind of foundation are you actually using today to build up your house, to build up your life. Currently, I'm trying to start a campus Bible talk in Hong Kong U, so Hong Kong University. And in this corner of the campus, there is this pool. All right? There's filled with water and a couple big rocks on it. But those are not pools for us. So sometimes I want to go down to swim. I cannot because it's not for me. You know, those are the pools that's actually for the turtles and for the fish. So every time when the sun comes out, right, you see the turtle chilling on the rock and enjoying the sunshine. They stick their heads out and looking at the sky and just stay at the same position for hours and hours and hours without moving. Yes, one time I spent an hour just looking at them. I want to make sure they're not moving. Okay, so it looks like they have found their peace, right? But sometimes I just want to test that peace. Honestly, like turtle, you're so chill, right? Are you really chilling? Are you pretending you're chilling? So you started to mess around with them. So in the beginning, this is what I first do. I started to look at them intently, right, with the gaze of a real man. You just focus, looking at the turtle. You focus. And you're trying to intimidate them, right? You're like, move. So I look closer, closer, and closer, right? And then the fish down there, they cannot handle my manly gaze. Right? They quickly swim away. They're like, real man! So they swim away. Right? They got scared. But the turtles stay put. You see, right, maybe today you are building your life around the gaze of everyone around you in your life. You see, you want to look good in front of everyone all the time. You want to please everyone in your life. You want to meet certain people's expectation that they have for you. So you are building your life according to the expectation of man. You feel like everybody is looking at you. You feel a lot of pressure because your parents want you to earn money and all this. So you're actually living according to their expectation, to the gaze of them instead of you. So simply, sometimes you cannot please everyone. I try most of my time, when I was a little child to please my father. It never works, sadly. Now he barely stayed in the house with us. Doesn't matter how good grades that I've been doing, doesn't matter how good I'm doing in school, he doesn't look like he cares. I was living according to his expectation, but he never gave me that recognition because a lot of time people just want more and more and more and more out of you, and you can never satisfy them, and you feel sad because you can never satisfy people. It makes you feel useless, worthless, and you start self-doubting a lot. You start overthinking. So maybe today you're building your life around the gaze of everyone around you. Those are the foundation of sin. Because it's hard to pursue this peace that is in your heart when you're living according to everybody's standard. So my manly gaze doesn't work. So I was quite surprised, because I think I'm quite a man. So I tried something else. So I make some weird noises, right? And I'm pretending that I'm going to jump in to capture them. So again, the fish swim away, right? They get scared, but the turtle still, they are staying put. Wow. I'm like, whoa, okay. So maybe today, you are building your life around the control of your future. Maybe that is the foundation that you are trying to build. And maybe that's why we go to university, right? We think there are more opportunity, jobs, wife, children, and then we're set. But and then we can live a peaceful life. We want life to actually go our way, but the problem with that is future is always uncertain. Even though we want to believe that future is in our control, but deep down we know that it is not. That's why people never earned enough money, never have enough saving, never be satisfied enough. It's because they don't believe deep down inside that this is their real solution. If this is how you build your life today, then whatever the certainty happens in your life, you start panicking and you will start overthinking and worrying a lot, and your life would start getting shaken a lot. It is also hard to find the peace of life, just like the fish. If you think about the fish, they're in the pool, they got things to eat, they got a place to live, they got sun to enjoy, but every time when people walk past, they get scared, and then they start swimming away. So with the turtle, it's a different story. So you see, again, if you're trying to build up your life on the control of your future, those again are the foundation of the sand. Is that you today? I want to ask you, what are your life building upon today? And finally, right, so I try to scare the turtle, it doesn't work. I pick up a stone. I'm like, this is how it works, you know. Obviously, you're not aiming for the turtle. Like, come on, guys. So I picked up a rock and I threw it to them, right next to them, right? So it makes some splashes around them, but none of the turtle even moved their head. I just do this. Stick their head out, enjoying their sun. All of this time, they're continuously looking at the sky as if nothing has happened. All right, at this, I have to give it to them, right? They're really chilling, they're not fake chilling, so I test them, all right? So what is the difference between the fish and the turtle? Well, maybe it is their focus. Unlike fish, turtle doesn't care about my manly gaze. That upset me a little bit, but that's okay. They're not living according to the expectation of man. And it doesn't care about the uncertainty of life. It doesn't care about the splashes that the rock makes around them. All of them thinking it's okay, let me stay in the sun. It's winter now, it's cold. I'm looking for the light to warm up my body. And this is the light, and let me stay in the light. You know, the turtle knows exactly what it is looking for. But I guess the question for you today is, do you know what you are looking for today? Because if you don't, it's hard to find peace, it's hard to find joy, and it's hard to find hope. So in Romans chapter 15, verse 13, we'll wrap it up here. It says, may the God of hope fill you with all joy and peace as you trust in Him, so that you may overflow with hope and the power of the Holy Spirit. So here, when you look at the scripture, it talks about that God is a God of hope. So He actually gives you joy, He brings you peace, and He provided you with hope. If those are the things that you are looking for today, my friends, see and taste that the Lord is good. Try God. Let me encourage you to try God. There are a lot of people in the church, there are a lot of people that they have found their peace, find their joy, and find their hope in God. And give God a try. Maybe He is what you are looking for all these years. So to God be all the glory. Thank you.